Just like that. Oh, right. An all-star group consisting of Buck Clayton on trumpet, Benny Goodman on clarinet there, the notional leader of the group, Lester Young on tenor sax, Count Basie was on piano, Charlie Christian and Freddie Green on guitars, Walter Page on bass and Joe Jones on the drums. Well, Lester Young had a very close and long-lasting musical, and I underline musical association, with a great lady singer, Billie Holiday. She called him President, or Prez for short, whilst he bestowed on her the nickname which she will always be remembered by, Lady Day. Yes, indeed. Mean to Me with the great Lady Day, Billie Holiday. And on tenor sax there was the equally great Lester Young. Here's our man with his own quartet. The Lester Young Quartet, Johnny Guarani on piano, Slam Stewart on the bass and played also with the bow, arco as they call it. Sid Catlett was on drums, and leading on tenor, the late great Lester Prez Young, whose birthday anniversary was last Thursday, which was also the birthday of one of the earliest British beboppers, drummer Tony Crombie. Beating one out here with Ronnie Scott's Bob Tit. Just like that. A tune called Little Willie Leaps. Who's Willie? Don't ask. Anyhow, with the Ronnie Scott Bobtet, Jimmy Duker was on trumpet, Spike Robinson, who I mentioned earlier, and who lives just the other side of Chelmsford in these days. But at the time of that recording, he was, in point of fact, an American National Serviceman, and gigging on the side, a little bit of moonlighting there in all probability, but you can see Spike any old time up at the Manhattan Club in the south end of or the south side, not south end, that's a place. South side is a geographical direction. I'm getting myself into what's name here. Anyway, Spike, Daryl Spike, was there on tenor saxophone. And on alto, Ronnie Scott. Ronnie Scott was on tenor, and Spike Robinson was on alto. I'll get it right if it kills me. Victor Feldman, the great Victor Feldman, another guy who moved over to the States some time past, on piano. Lenny Bush was on bass, and Tony Crombie, our birthday man, on the drums. Right now, however, let's see. Here is a number that Tony Crombie wrote. Okay, so I made a mistake. Tutty, tut, tut. What did I say? That Tony Crombie wrote that thing? Well, I think Stephen Romberg and Oscar Hammerstein II might be very, very hurt if they were still with us to hear me say that. That was a tune called, of course, as you know, Lover Come Back to Me, Ronnie Scott's orchestra, which included Peter King on tenor, who, incidentally, you may have heard in the Saturday night recording of last year's Albert Hall Prom. It's good to see that the Proms establishment are taking jazz seriously these days, by the way. However, I digress. On the number we've just heard here tonight on baritone sax was dear old Benny Green, who left us just a month or two back. Whilst on drums was our man, Tony Crombie, who did write this one. A tune called Compos Mentis, which I suppose could be very, very loosely translated as With It, why not? Played by Ronnie Scott's orchestra and written by the drummer there, Tony Crombie, whose birthday was on Thursday last. Whilst Friday was the birthday of pianist Kenny Drew, a child prodigy who first recorded with Howard McGee in 1949, though he played through the 50s. He was much in demand by such as Coleman Hawkins, Lester Young, who we heard earlier, Charlie Parker, Buddy DeFranco, and this geezer, John Coltrane. A number called Blue Train there, perhaps John Coltrane's best-known track, with Miles Davis, who I'm sadly cutting short, sorry about that, Myrtle, on trumpet, and featuring on piano Kenny Drew, whose birthday was on Friday. Well, in master of the bebop alto sax, and one of the many formidable musicians to come out of Kansas City, the inimitable Charlie Bird Parker. Just like that. The Charlie Bird Parker septet with Bird on alto. Miles Davis was on trumpet, Lucky Thompson on the tenor, Dodo Marmarosa on piano, Alvin Garrison on guitar, and Vic McMillan bass, Roy Porter on the drums, and I'm quite sure Uncle Tom Cobley was in there somewhere. However, that was the man whose birthday we're looking at from last Saturday, but more to come. Don't go away. Is it true? At the work of Charlie Bird Parker on the occasion of the anniversary of his birthday last Saturday. And as I said, he was a fairly eclectic sort of guy, but mostly was a bebop man. Well, Parker was nicknamed Bird due to apparently his prodigious consumption of fried chicken, and he sometimes alluded to his nickname in tune titles that he wrote, such as in the aforementioned number that we played just before the break, which was called Ornithology. Get it? Oh, well, never mind. Others were, for example, the Yardbird Suite, Bird of Paradise, and this one, Bird's Nest. Yes, indeed. A great number there. The Charlie Parker's Quartet with Errol Garner on piano and Red Callender on bass and Doc West on the drums. The late 30s and early 40s proved fruitful for the young jazz Turks of the day, and in Kansas City particularly there was plenty of work. The likes of Parker, Lester Young, and Ben Webster used to hold after-hours blowing matches, which they called cutting contests for some reason. Well, these jams and others in New York later, together with the slow death of the big band era in the war years, were largely instrumental in the birth of the new jazz style, at first called rebop with an R, but which became bebop. Another one of those early beboppers, the great Dizzy Gillespie, who oft-times played alongside our man, Charlie Bird Parker. But here is our man, Charlie Parker, with a track which is reputed to have been his first ever as, says he, dialing up madly, as a leader. Oh, we could try this one. I think I prefer it. You know why? Because it's the one I want. Go for it, kid. Just like that. Charlie Bird Parker there, and a number called The Song Is You, of course. And on there we had, with Charlie Bird Parker on alto, Hank Jones on piano, Teddy Kotick was on the bass, and Max Roach on the drums. Well, in New York, Parker had met pianist Thelonious Monk and trumpeter Dizzy Gillespie, who we heard a little earlier, and drummer Buddy Rich. And here's an incredibly fast track that these guys put together in 1950. Yes, bum, like it.
The late, great Charlie Parker on alto sax, and the equally great and equally late Dizzy Gillespie on trumpet. Thelonious Monk on piano, Buddy Rich on the drums, and Curly Russell on bass, in a tune called Leapfrog. No doubt the title comes from the fact of that incredibly fast and intuitive trading of the lead between Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Bird Parker, who, Charlie Bird, that is, who would have been 78 on Saturday had he not departed this earthly gig at just 35. Well, we'll be back in a splicket with a Sunday birthday boy. And actually, we won't be letting Charlie Parker get away either. He'll be back too. And as a matter of fact, we stay with Charlie Parker, who we were listening to just before the break. In fact, we stay with him, but in a more relaxed combo, as Sunday is the anniversary, or was the anniversary, of the birthday of trumpeter Kenny Dorham, who also played with the aforementioned Dizzy Gillespie, Lionel Hampton, Billy Eckstein, and Art Blakey, as well as the guy I keep mentioning, Charlie Bird Parker.